And we are live. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Blockchain Talk episode 63 already. It's quite a high number. Today, topic freelancing in crypto spaces, part 2. As you guys can see, I've got a very special guest with me, Alex Lazar. Hello, Alex.
Hello, and thanks for the introduction and thanks for having me. Number 64. I can't wait to hit that number with my channel.
63. I've got
Yeah, 63. It's a
yeah,
high
I've got
number.
multiple live streams for this series. It's my 63rd episode. So
What's your cadence? Like, how do you plan these? Because I'm having a hard time establishing like a regular schedule where it's like only Fridays or.
well, I tend to plan them on a weekly basis, or I try to. If people watch my videos, they will notice sometimes there's a little hiatus that's coming in between. Like last year, I know June, July, there was a little break, not because of vacation or summer vacation. Plain and simple, the explanation is being given in the videos I uploaded later on, when the live streams I did later on. I had an accident and I had broken a few bones, so that was the main reason. And well, October, November, I got married and there was a honeymoon, so that was the other
That's
main reason.
that's a good reason. That's a good thing. Unlike the broken bones.
Yeah, I know, but generally I try to keep up a weekly attendance, and sometimes it's a special episode whereby I focus on a development in cryptocurrency, like the FTX crash that occurred, Celsius crash, the what was it again? Three Arrows Capital debacle, etc., etc. I believe last week I had another special guest, Bitcoin Data, Bitcoin educational organization in Africa. That was a very good talk. I loved having her. Naturally, all my guests I like when they appear on screen and or present with me, but I like to focus on that one. It was something else entirely from the usual format I did. So that's basically.
Crypto is, I've noticed, is really big in certain African countries. I think it's super important. It's like sometimes when I talk to people from the US, they are maybe a bit Luddite-ish when we talk about crypto. They're kind of against it. They're like, why do we need that? Like, there's a bunch of countries in the world. I try to explain to them, the ones that don't understand, that there's a bunch of countries in the world where crypto really is a game changer.
Yeah, the thing is, there's a difference in mentality depending on where you are. Here in Europe, it resembles closely to the US, though there are a few fundamental differences. Here in Europe, we see use cases like your Toucan protocol. More on that later. I'll let you do the introduction about it. Like your Toucan protocol. What else? There's naturally Ravencoin considering NFTs, etc. Um, well, another project I'm going to call it by name, Cumrocket, in which I'm as well involved, which is about creating an adult content marketplace. And that's actually initiated by Lit Lane, female CEO, and she's from the UK. So, well, I wanted to say Europe, but yeah, with
I
the
mean,
Brexit, etc.
not really Europe, but still, I like to think of them as Europeans.
Myself as well. So let's take them back together. I heard of talks about the UK rejoining the EU. So
Really? That's,
I heard there was some plans to reestablish it. But yeah,
I mean,
so Europe is more use case orientated, and I know in the US, that's the main theme on crypto Twitter. When you're on Twitter, Instagram, the US is very finance orientated. Almost all financial blockchains have their roots in the US. Whereas, yeah, well, utility is more Europe and other countries, I'm going to say. And then you have Africa. And I must admit, their mentality is something I quite like by reason. They still innovate, but on a level that we are not accustomed to. For example, with the live stream I did last week, we brought up Mashankura. which is an African project concerning Bitcoin, but it allows to do Lightning Network payments through a classic cell phone, so not through a smartphone. They make use of the cell phone network, so not G4, but really classic SMS utility. So
Oh,
that was something which was quite nice.
that's interesting. Why? What are the trade? I mean, look, maybe maybe I, maybe I'm deviating too much from your outline. But what are the trade-offs of SMS versus using the internet?
Well, if you're using a smartphone, you have immediate access to the internet, and you can more easily go peer to peer. There's no trusted third party platform. With Mashankura, that's a little bit their current issue, but it enables more widespread adoption. They still rely on telephone network and providers. So yeah,
You
the
know,
things aren't immediately pseudo anonymous. Damn it, sorry, long day. Pseudo anonymous by reason there is a way to trace transactions and link it towards a person, but in a sense, I liked the development by reason it allows for older tech to use something modern like Bitcoin.
I mean, on one side, I don't think like pseudo anonymity. I mean, if you're using most blockchains nowadays, it's still public, and there's gonna usually be some point where you link your identity to an address, so you can still kind of be traced. And what's interesting is I actually read a few days ago this statistic that about like two something billion, I don't remember the exact number, but over a billion people in the world do not have access to the internet.
That's true.
It was like this huge percentage of the world which actually doesn't have internet. And I thought it's just insane. It's crazy that can't be true, but it is. And so I kind of see the trade, like I see the point of using SMS for that because it gives access to these other people
Yeah,
on the block.
that's one of the reasons why Bitcoin is still as revolutionary, and why I was so interested on having an opinion from someone from the old continent. So really, Africa, to have a little talk about Bitcoin education over there. By reason, we in Europe and the US are all accustomed to having internet. I mean, our smartphones have 24/7 contact with the internet,
Yep.
whereas there you've got real countries and plenty of places where people live, but no internet access, nor even phone access. So, whereas we think, oh yeah, mainstream adoption by Bitcoin and crypto in general, reality is there's still a long way to go, and we are more or less privileged when it comes down to it, even though I dislike using that word.
We are quite privileged. I'm gonna have to. That's just the truth. Most countries in the world are not as lucky as any country in Europe. Even the ones that, because there are countries in Europe that like to say, "Oh, our country is not great. Our country is awful because of this and that." You haven't traveled that much outside of Europe if you're saying that.
Oh, that's true. Though there are plenty of people who are saying it, and I want to believe them, but at the same time, as you said, those are the people who aren't really well traveled, or when it comes down to it and you start insulting their country as an outsider, they will suddenly pop up and say, yeah, but that's nice, and well, that isn't all too bad, and
Yeah, yeah.
government's okay. Yeah, right.
I think it's human nature. Everybody likes to a degree, hate on their country. Everybody likes to do it. Everybody does it. Even I do it sometimes.
Yeah, me too. I mean, I like living here in the country I am, but sometimes when you hear me, you will hear quite often some critics, but never mind about that.
There's pros and
Um, so yeah, I'm going to try to put it back on track here. So freelancing crypto spaces. Now, I'm going to set something right here. Um, Alex here. I don't want to have you guys to have the fake impression he's a freelancer. No, he's more of a private contractor, if I'm saying it right.
yeah.
But yeah, go
So,
ahead.
quick explanation of what I do nowadays. I'm a software engineer, and I work in kind of I work in the crypto space. Part of my work is stuff that is very similar to normal web development, but also part of my stuff is interacting with smart contracts or building smart contracts, that type of stuff. So basically, EVM based smart contract, either building smart contracts or interacting with smart contracts on the web. That's kind of what I do on a day to day basis. And the reason why I kind of fit in the freelancing side of things is because, well, up until a year ago, I used to be a freelancer where I would take a job which took like a month, and I would do it and I get my money, and then I move on and I find another job. And now what I do is I take really long contracting situations where basically I'm pretty much, for like practical terms, part of the team, and I act like an employee, going to the stand-ups and doing everything that a normal employee does. But on paper, legally, I am hired through my company, which means I'm a contractor. And this is so amazing and has so many benefits. If you're a freelancer today and you're dealing with like the feast and famine of, oh, I just found a client, I'm so happy, I'm making this money, you finish the work, now you're broke again because you have to find another client. That's what I had to deal with. And it's stressful, to say the least. Quite stressful. If you have a contractor too, life is calmer because you always have work coming in, you always have money coming in, and you really only have to look for new work maybe once a year or even once every few years, depending on how long our contracts are. And that's kind of what I do today. And that's kind of why I moved from freelancing into contracting. But like for legal purposes, it's pretty much the same thing.
Yeah. About that, I understand completely. And what you actually highlighted is one of the things people tend to underestimate when freelancing. Where it concerns freelancing, in my own case, well, I still have my 9 to 5, so I'm not even a contractor. However, I do freelancing work on the side. I see it as a supplementary, let's say, hustle to, well, invest in crypto mostly. I also work, as you guys know, between crypto, but most of my funds go into, well, investing in a variety of chains, in a variety of, well, coins, just for exploration and actually making these kinds of live streams. More specifically, my crypto bull episodes. I do not tend to do much of research before those streams, but afterwards I always have a little back ready to see how it works, to get into detail if I need to make rectifications, etc. Naturally, I'll try to make part of the community first. But yeah, you catch my drift. And with a few projects I am involved, and well, I got paid. I tend to ask for the tokens or coins themselves for the work that I've been doing. So
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense because then you it makes sense for the protocol as well as for you. It makes sense for the protocol because obviously you have to do a good job to raise the price of the token, and then that's good for them because it puts you it aligns the incentives very well, so to say.
yeah, I'm even going to be honest. I only get involved with projects that I have been convinced of. And let's just say I've got about 80 episodes of Crypto Bull by now. I believe there's only two of them where I'm, no, three, where I'm more or less active in the community, and of which I actively hold it back. The others, I tried getting involved, see what it's up to, and, well, encountered a variety of barriers. Not to say that the development was bad, but that you noticed, yeah, no, this isn't going to turn into anything more than, well, what it currently is.
Yeah,
So
there are.
the project's on hold, very closed, not really open to, well, establishing a very strong foothold community. Um, I can rant off what, how to say, the different aspects are by which I noticed that they blocked off and that they want to be more on their own. And generally, one of the biggest indicators are financial coins. Almost all of them are like that.
Yeah, I a lot of project like some projects take themselves very seriously, and I think is great because they can really make true advancements in technology. Like, for example, one project that I really like, which is very big by now, it's Chainlink. they bring a lot of like actual technological advancement to the blockchain world and the Web3 world. Like for example, I mean, so probably you've explained exactly how Chainlink works. So I'm not sure if I should go into a rant right now. But the way it kind of works is the EVM is this closed. So the EVM is where smart contracts run on Ethereum, Polygon, and so on. And it's enclosed. You can't really access anything outside of that EVM, which EVM means Ethereum Virtual Machine. You can't access any data on the internet or whatever. And essentially, what Chainlink does is it's a network of nodes which they fetch data from a bunch of resources, and then they reach a consensus on that data, and then they can feed that data into smart contracts so that your smart contract now knows what the price of Ethereum is, or your smart contract now knows what the price of land is, maybe what temperature it is, and now you can code these smart contracts that have access to outside data. And that is what Chainlink is for the most part. But they actually have these automations, which I've been looking a bit deeply in the past few weeks, because I've been trying to find the time to build a side project that uses them. And basically, the way I think I don't know what it's even called, Chainlink automations. Let me Google it real quick.
Yeah, I'm just highlighting this here. For people who want to go into depth concerning Chainlink, I believe it's almost a year ago that I did a little live stream with CryptoBull on it. That's the entire rundown on screen. Just going to share it for people who are interested in the mechanics. But it is, as Alex explained, it is about smart contracts and having a reliant link towards trusted sources in order to communicate between blockchain layer and the outside. And trusted sources, they call it trusted oracles. Oracles, as in we see everything, etc., etc.
Yep.
That's basically
And
how Chainlink works.
they also have these automations now. Yep, I can link it right here, which I think is really cool because you can basically have Chainlink's network call your contract to do certain actions at a certain time on when certain conditions are met. And you can make it's kind of like for anybody that has any experience with engineering, it's kind of like cron jobs for the blockchain, which I think is really, really cool. But to not delve too deep into Chainlink, because that's a totally different topic, what I was trying to kind of point out is that when I look at these things, I try to look at other projects, I try to look at the technology behind them so much more so than the hype or the marketing. While the hype and the marketing are obviously important as well, because you have to market the solution for it to actually catch on. Obviously, being a software engineer, I'm going to be much more interested in the actual technology behind the thing. And I think Chainlink powers a lot of protocols right now and helps a lot of protocols right now. Chainlink is a cool one. That the technology is really beautiful. Have you done any research on the graph?
The graph, I do believe I even did a little live stream about it. Now, I'm going to be honest, it escapes my mind what I said about it and what it was about. I've done plenty of live streams, and I'm going to be honest, there's plenty where I gave my opinion. At the moment itself, I went into the technical details, gave my opinion, and considering that I forgot about the graph and what it stood for, implies it didn't really impress me at all. So,
Oh, okay. I'm gonna sell the graph to you. I'm gonna sell the graph to you. So the way we as engineers use the graph and the technology behind it is essentially it allows us to index events that have happened in smart contracts.
mhm.
These are called subgraphs. And basically, it allows you to store all of this data in a much more efficient manner. So you don't have to make like very weird, very complex read functions that cost gas and that are just very convoluted to try to get data from the blockchain. You create the graph, and then the graph, what it does is it's kind of an index for all of those events. It's quite interesting as a technology, and a lot of protocols also use it. We use it at Toucan. I think it's a really, really cool technology. I will not tell you to invest in it or in Chainlink for that matter or in anything because I really don't know what's going to happen. I just like the technologies.
Um, just showed quickly on my screen. Now I know why I forgot about the graph. It is one of my very first episodes I've done. Considering we are almost 80 in, I'm starting to understand why I've forgotten about that one. Chainlink, I know them quite a long time already. I believe even in the live stream I did back in the day, I was saying, look, this is probably one of the first coins I'm going to do a live analysis on, but where I have prior knowledge. So I know during that live stream I was trying to push away a little the hype and my pleasure of having them analyzed. Try to remain as objective as possible, though people will easily get the impression I was a bit too positive and less critical than in previous installments.
No, but Chainlink feels cool to me. Chainlink feels close to me. I think you've done a show on Matic and Polygon as well, right?
Yeah. There, the conclusion was that as a layer 2 solution for Ethereum payment system, they were very good and nice, and that I gave them a thumbs up for that one, especially with their use of ZK rollups to lessen the gas fees during bull runs.
Yeah. Gas is nothing on Polygon. It doesn't exist. Gas is like you don't even care. It's quite cool, which also is one of the reasons why Toucan, where I work right now, was deployed on Polygon. And we can dive a bit into what Toucan does. But I like Polygon. And they also do a lot of marketing. Like they really do a lot of partnerships. They really work their asses off there.
Yeah, tell us a little bit about Toucan. I'm going to share it here on screen, their website. I'm not immediately familiar with Toucan. I know you've done a little. Yeah, I've been scrolling a little bit before this live stream. I know you've done a little talk about it on an Ethereum convention, if I'm not mistaken. And that is, well, as you guys can see here on screen, Carbon has evolved. It concerns tokenizing carbon credits. Am I correct here?
Indeed, very correct. Yeah, I've worked at Toucan for now over a year. And I've done a few talks with them and or for them at ETH Amsterdam and a few other places, including actually ETH Denver. But that one was an online talk. I wasn't actually in Denver because I don't have a US visa, which is something that kind of has become a bit of a pet peeve, as you have seen on Twitter for me. But what Toucan does, and you have to understand first, before you understand Toucan, you have to understand what carbon markets are. So I'm going to explain that shortly, very simply. The way carbon markets, voluntary carbon markets, because they're different than the compulsory ones, voluntary carbon markets work as follows. Somebody, and these somebodies are called project developers, they go and they maybe plant trees, or maybe they install solar panels, or they do different things that remove or prevent the emission of carbon emissions from the air. And these project developers that have done these carbon removals or carbon preventions, they can then go and they can go to like different institutions, like for example, Vera, which is one that we work with.
Mm-hmm.
And these institutions are going to come down at your where you planted the trees or where you did the solar panels, and they're going to see, did you actually remove whatever amount of tons of CO2 you claim from the air? They're going to verify that. They're going to give you a certificate, which is also called a carbon credit. And now you have this certificate that it has some value. And it has value because companies can use it to offset. Now, offset means that you actually cancel the carbon credit, turning it into nothing, which is ultimately what is the action that is required to help the planet. That's basically because when you destroy them, you lower the supply, which increases the price, which in turn, it's this whole economy which helps the planet by reducing the CO2, right? Now, of course, you can choose to not sell them or to not destroy them, to not offset them. And you can actually choose to trade these things, the carbon credits. You can hold them, that is going to appreciate. You can sell them, you can trade them, you can hold a basket of carbon credits. And that's kind of how the carbon markets work. Is that clear?
To me, to me, in any case, it's quite clear. I'm an engineer by in my 9 to 5. I work daily with carbon solutions.
Oh,
I'm going to say. So I am aware of. Well, let's just highlight one aspect where it concerns carbon credits. It is a marketplace to, well, in a certain sense, lessen your CO2 footprint.
yep.
Um, in itself, great idea. I dare say from the European Union out. However, as we've been saying, marketplace, and we know how good people are with money and trading. So you can expect there are some shady deals going on of carbon credits suddenly being created where none should be, and carbon credits disappearing where they
Yep.
shouldn't be.
It
There's
used to be it used to be a lot worse 10, 20 years ago. Now it's better, but still it is a bit of an opaque industry with the brokers and everything. It can be shady here and there. It has its trade-offs, and this is where toucan actually comes in to help the world in blockchain as a whole, because like one of the reasons why I joined the blockchain company, there are more reasons, but one of them is that I just love the ethos of crypto and the ethos of just blockchain, where you come in, you take something and you make it transparent and you make it decentralized, and now it's more democratic, more fair, and normal people have more access and they can see stuff that they weren't able to see before. And this is actually something that you're right. The traditional voluntary carbon markets were kind of bad at transparency and all that. But if you take these assets and you tokenize them and you put them on chain, now the data is transparent, the data is public, the data is to a degree decentralized, and this is the benefit of Toucan. This is what we do. We essentially have created an infrastructure which verifies that you actually have the carbon certificate and that the carbon certificate is okay. We then have you burn the carbon certificate or destroy it, offset it in the traditional market. Now you mint the carbon certificate on chain, and this ensures that the carbon certificate only lives on chain and doesn't exist off chain anymore. And so now you can see all of its attributes. You can see exactly how many tons there are. You can see all of this data on the chain, and it's super safe, super like just transparent. Nobody can fuck with it, for lack of a better word. And that's kind of the main thing that Toucan does. We offered a few products around that. We can dive
Mhm.
into that as well. Um, One of them, also the main products that we offer on top of that infrastructure, is pools, essentially. Now, pools, you're going to see it's BCT and NCT, which is base carbon ton and nature carbon ton. Essentially, what pools are is just a basket of carbon credits. So you can see bridging is kind of our main thing. And
Mhm.
then once tokenized, yeah, they can be pooled, traded, and integrated with growing numbers of projects in our ecosystem. So the thing is that what a BCT or an NCT is, it's really just an ERC20 that is backed by a bunch of of not totally different, of different but not different. Okay, that's weird. How do I explain that? A pool token, which is again BCT or NCT, I've repeated myself a few times now, is backed by multiple carbon projects. These carbon projects have to meet certain criteria to enter the pool token,
Mhm.
which makes them to a certain degree similar, but it keeps them different. This is super useful because one, it allows you to invest in BCT and NCT and get exposure to the carbon market at large in a very diversified way, which is, I think, good. But even better than that, it makes these carbon credits very tradable. Because if you have a carbon credit from 2018 and I have one from 2017, we're going to haggle over the price. But if they're all in a pool and they're all backed by the same assets, it's very easy to trade. I can just, okay, this is the same. This is divisible. This is fungible. Fungible?
Yeah, fungible. It means it can be exchanged.
Exactly.
That's cool. I need to
And
be complete there.
that's another huge thing which we bring to the ecosystem. Now, the other thing is obviously these are on chain. The smart contracts are public, even if they're not open source, do very different things. You can code with them. And part of my job, aside from developing and engineering different stuff, is to help external engineers develop with our tokens and with our stuff. So, for example, there are projects out there that take our tokens and they make staking platforms with them, or take our tokens and make play to earn games, but instead of earning, you offset.
Yeah.
These are just two ideas that came off the top of my head, but there's a lot of projects out there that build on top of the infrastructure we provide. And that's kind of what Toucan does in a nutshell. And we're planning on launching some new things, but let's just keep it at that.
Yeah, some viewers might have seen my face twist a little when you mentioned play to earn. Let's just say I'm very based where it concerns blockchain-based gaming.
Why don't you like blockchain games?
Why? Well, play to earn is more pay to win most of the times of almost all projects that I've done. And I'm going to name them by name, like Medieval Empires and what was it called again? Where you could earn money depending on the amount of distance you walked, which was also
Step in.
That was it. Also available in my Crypto Bull episodes, and the remarks remain the same. It's like, oh yeah, it looks cool, up until the point you download the application or want to get involved, and what suddenly do you see? NFTs costing literal thousands of dollars, and I'm like, sorry guys, plenty in the gaming community, and I know I made this statement on Twitter a few times already. Plenty of people in the gaming community are complaining, oh no, subscriptions $50 per month, that's quite expensive. And you want to draw in players with a piece of virtual land that costs literal thousands of dollars? I'm sorry guys, no.
That said, one thing that I have noticed that was really interesting to me is that Step N makes or made a shitload of money. Like they were making a lot of money off of the fees from people buying and trading the in-game items. It was quite crazy at its height.
Yeah, that's one of the problems with blockchain gaming. The game itself isn't really played, but most of the time, the assets within the game are being traded upwards and get an appreciation whereby you as a middleman or beginner looks at it and is like, what the hell did just occur? How the hell am I supposed to play a game with such aggressive trading going on? And it isn't even from the community itself. It tends to be early adopters who are just trading in between each other, trying to make a profit and then cashing out. I mean, I want to believe, but no.
I think it's a very I think the starting concept, the starting idea of play to earn games where you can trade in-game objects is interesting, because I know people, especially I don't really know people right now, but when we were younger, you play a lot of video games, you get this in-game things, and then you stop playing the game because you move to another game or you just grew up and you have all of these things in-game, and it would be nice to be able to sell them.
That's true.
And play to earn does kind of have that baked in. So that's why it's interesting to me, but definitely it's also problematic in a lot of ways. And I think we are a long way from seeing like play to earn games that are actually playable and nice to play. We're probably at least a few good years from that.
I mean, in theory, it is possible to have a blockchain-based game, play to earn, which is with a fair distribution without all the speculation. It is possible, but each and almost every game I'm encountering suddenly involves, we are Web3, Metaverse, NFTs, and you click on it, even if you are an early adapter within the first 2 or 3 months, and you see outrageous prices, and you're like, really, guys? Really?
Yeah, it gets crazy. We are in a winter, though, crypto winter, and I think it's calmed down a bit. It used to be crazy last year.
That's true. That's true. I see it in plenty of groups on Telegram, Discord, where I'm in. US activity is on a down low, just by reason it's a crypto winter and not much is ongoing, and people are
Yeah.
fearful. They've sold their bags once everything went out, and they're not to buy or invest right now. Whereas I've been yelling from the roofs, guys, it's accumulation time. I've been accumulating in December when Bitcoin went below the 20K zone. I did it, and not a lot of people did so. But hey, their loss, not mine.
I mean, it's still probably a good time to buy. Most good technologies will probably grow from now onwards in the next few years. I think we're still down.
Yeah. Also, a little word of advice to the miners. I know profits might be low currently due to the high electricity energy costs and tokens not being worth much. But even if you are still in profit with $1 a day, continue doing so. This is accumulation range.
Hold. Yeah, just hold.
Really, just yeah. And I believe it's also, to get back to what's the topic at hand, also great time to start freelancing in crypto. I know plenty of companies are doing layoffs, but
It's weird. It's a weird time. I wouldn't say it's necessarily a great time. Like last year, you could be having an arm and a leg missing, and you're getting a job in crypto. It's easy. Okay, it wasn't easy. I'm exaggerating, but it was much easier than now. Um, the market for like jobs, whether you're a software engineer or something else in crypto, does look darker. It doesn't look dark for mid-range people or for senior people. Like for example, I've already kind of broken into the mid-range of engineers, where I'm pretty comfortable. I'm getting some offers here and there from people that I might not even approach, or if I apply to a job, because I do apply sometimes to jobs just to kind of see how the market is, even if I'm not interested in going anywhere. And while I see a drop in kind of how many offers I was getting, like post Eat Amsterdam for me was crazy. I was getting offers left and right. I was interviewing. It was crazy post Eat Amsterdam last year in the summer. Nowadays, it's calmed down for me as well, but I'm still fine. If you're a senior in whatever field you're in, it's great. You can still find a lot of places to work, and you can accumulate, and you can get really good jobs. And the benefit of the web free jobs, the web free contracts, and whatever, they're much more open to flexible terms, remote, little meetings, async work, anonymous work where they don't even know who you are sometimes, getting paid in crypto without KYC, or getting paid through your LLC. Just send an invoice and that's it. And you pay your own taxes and you figure your own stuff. And if you are smart, you can set your company in certain tax jurisdictions where you can benefit from that a lot. Like it's much more flexible than the traditional, like anything else outside of crypto, where they don't allow as much freedom. So I would still say it's good to try to break in. But honestly, if you're a junior engineer, or if you're a junior whatever you're doing, design or whatever it is, you're gonna have a hard time in crypto and really anywhere, I would say.
yeah, sorry, a little cat here jumped on the desk. No, no, I was paying attention. Indeed, yeah, in a certain sense, I would say naturally there's a difference in the amount of offers you're getting now and which you had back then. However, boils down again to crypto winter. Back during the bull run, there was still plenty of money going around and plenty of people wanting to make money.
Yep.
And they just wanted to onboard people for fast development. I've seen it with plenty of other projects where they're now either going on part time development or well, withdrawing or halting development even at current rate because, well, funds have dried up. There's no profit to be had. However, those guys that tend to be hired right now tend to be the ones you need to look out for in the next bull run. By reason, those are, well, the cream of the crop, as they say. They are the good ones. They know what they are doing, and they have a certain established name for themselves. So that's one of the differentiating factors under current crypto conditions. You've got to prove your worth. You're
Yep.
no longer freelancing because you state you can. You have proven that you can. So that
Yep.
implies if you're being asked now, it is an implication. There is social proof that you are a great guy and know what you are doing.
I think you hit a very good note where you said that, because my main advice to anybody that's starting out now and wants to get a job, whether it's a software engineer or a contract or wants to freelance or whatever structure they may want to set up, but somebody that wants to get work now, you're gonna have to be a bit creative. Like, you
Mhm.
don't expect to just show up, hey, here's my resume, give me a job because I know how to do that. They're not going to look at you unless you have like a really amazing resume, which if you're starting out, you don't have. So be creative. Like, I have an article on my blog where I explain how I actually got into Tucon. The way I got into Tucon was by literally going in their Discord saying, hey, can I build this for you for free? They said, I mean, sure, why not? Build it for free. That's the one, yeah. I built this thing for free for them. It took me a whole month almost, and they asked me what I want in exchange, and I told them, give me a job, give me a job, or give me a trial month actually, where I worked my ass off. I've never told them, but I actually didn't work full time in a trial month. I worked more than full time. I worked my ass off, and they liked me,
Mhm.
and that's the way I broke in. So you have to be creative like this, or you have to know people in companies that can give you a referral. But again, you're starting out, you probably don't know anybody. So try to be creative. Go contribute, go be helpful, make content, do stuff to make yourself shine, to make yourself pop out into the open. Essentially, you have to kind of be, to a degree, kind of a sore thumb for them to notice you, but in a good way, obviously.
Yeah, you just need to have the balls to get out and approach people. I
Yep.
mean, um, now I'm talking purely from my 9 to 5, but I've never been fired in my life despite having had 3 jobs. I always quit by reason my demands weren't met or that I noticed not the full potential is being realized here. I'm getting stuck. You can always unhire yourself and say, look, I'm going to look elsewhere. Just have the
Yep.
balls and go for it.
Yep.
And that's basically what you need to do with freelancing, and actually what you did, Alex, with well, reaching out to people and showing, look, this not only is this my resume, I've done this, and to put it in the words of perhaps a common friend of us, Dylan Madden, the money bag guy: receipts, receipts, receipts. That's a
Yep.
fundamental when freelancing, and it applies to many other aspects in life.
Yep.
Show the receipts, show what you can do.
Yep. And really, another thing that Dylan was always saying, I remember, was just DMs, the power of the DM. This is actually how I met Dylan. I DM'd him, and I don't remember exactly how I DM'd him, but I met him by DMing him, and he was like, you actually kind of know what you're doing.
Hmm.
I remember. And yeah, but the power of a DM is huge. Everybody I know, everybody I ever worked with, and everybody that I ever know in the business world or in the crypto world has been met by me, either through me DMing them or commenting on their stuff. I actually never, I'm from Romania, for people that don't know that. I actually never, ever worked with anybody from Romania,
Hmm.
ever. And so, because a lot of people in from like my friends now that I'm kind of, I guess, semi successful, they ask me, how did you do it? How do you meet these people? Because I don't know anybody in the industry except you. And I'm like, bro, just go on Twitter, DM people, go in Discord, just
Yeah.
do stuff. It's you don't have to know anybody. If you can provide some value and you just barge in a lot of doors, at some point some door is gonna open.
where it concerns DMs, I'm quickly going to share my screen here. Just as a little side note mention, in the first chapter of Crypto Spaces here, hold on, need to share. Oh, I'm doing little F ups here.
That's okay. I always do that on my channel. Like I had a live stream where my internet literally cut off every 5 or 10 minutes, and you just have to push through. These things happen.
Yeah, I'm getting used to it by now.
Mhm.
There we go. So, previous chapter. So we are now episode 63, episode 60, freelancing crypto spaces. As you guys can probably see here, I made a little PowerPoint back then, and I was showing outreach DMs. People who have watched that episode and are watching now will notice the remarks I've made back then. It's not only sufficient to reach out in DMs, but for the love of God, please be respectful, be
Yeah.
cordial, and be a fucking professional.
Yep.
Some of the examples I've shown on screen, I'm not going to repeat them, but they were bad, very
Yeah.
bad.
Yeah. Some are really bad. I'm kind of like, so my role at Tucan is in a small part being a developer advocate, which, as I've said, means supporting a lot of external people. But what this means is that I'm also kind of public about being a Tucan and about supporting people. And so a lot of people come at me with very random, very just not very formulated requests like, "Hi," and I'm like, "Hi, I guess. Now what?" And they just like, I mean, you probably gave some good examples. I don't know any examples off the top of my head, but yeah, some people are just awful. And I think if you can speak English well, which really get Grammarly, you don't even need to know very good English yourself. Just get Grammarly. Be polite, say thank you and sorry, and maybe personalize it. Like mention something that the person that you're DMing did that you liked, and maybe sometimes do something that's creative. Like something that I sometimes did when I was freelancing was, instead of just sending an email or a DM, I also send like a Loom video of me critiquing their website or just saying something to them that was highly personalized. The thing with Tucan, what I contributed open source, just be creative, make it personal, make it nice.
Indeed, I can attest to that. And to give a few, an example, well, there were a few during the live stream I've shown, but do not start opening up your DMs with, "Are you the right person to talk about this?" I mean, come on, guys, little bit of pre-research. It isn't
Yeah,
that hard. I mean, if
yeah,
you are interested to join a project, I mean, all cryptocurrency projects have a website, and it
yep,
literally takes but a few minutes to scroll. Sorry, to scroll, see who the team members are, if naturally indicated. Takes a
yep,
few moments to see who to contact and where the official channels are to ask your questions.
yep.
And I mean, Discord, Telegram, they're quite open for everyone. So yeah.
The channels are pretty straightforward. It's not like you're like, I had this happen to me. People that asked business questions in the dev channel, tagging me, and I have DevRel written on top of my name. I'm
Mhm.
like, I mean, what can I say? It's, but yeah, a modicum of research would help a lot in your DMs or your approaches. I think most of, I would like to believe at least that most of our listeners um, are okay when it comes to that.
Well, I want to agree, but sadly enough, with experience with all the live streams I've done to date. As you know, this is 63rd episode I'm doing for Blockchain Talk. I've got my other live streams which are also in the double digits. I've had some outreach, even from viewers who follow me for some time, and they do the outreach, and I'm like, did you guys even pay attention? And by reason that I know some of these guys are also in freelancing groups that I joined 3 to 4 years ago under Dylan, and I'm like, he's put out so much nice content, and you've bought
Yeah,
it just like me. You've read it, and still, come on, guys, you know you
yeah,
can do better.
yeah. I mean, Dylan's stuff was very good. I don't know what he's doing anymore. I haven't talked to him. I think I've talked to him maybe once in the past 12 months.
Yeah,
But his stuff was good.
this is not intended as marketeering, but I know he's now an active participator in Andrew Tate's The Real World as a freelance educator. And all in all, the guy is doing great and he has got solid moves. I was in his freelancing group on Telegram for quite some time, but I know since he made a move towards the real world that Telegram group has stopped. And well, he said, "Yeah, you guys can follow me into the real world." Part of me wanted to, but at the same time was like, "Look, all the lessons I've learned from you. I'm not going to follow you. You still have my support. If there's something, you can still outreach me, but I'm more going to focus on my crypto thingies
Yeah,
that I'm doing with my live streams, my educational stuff. I've expanded on all my social media, got a separate Telegram channel where I'm now posting all my updates, etc. So I'm really focusing on that one, trying to establish it. In a certain sense, it's also freelancing, but for myself.
yeah. That's the way I am too. I'm very individualistic. Like I'll join different groups, but I never get super involved and super active in any one group. Because I think ultimately my life and my success in life, regardless of what I'm talking about, fitness or financials or my career, it really boils down to me. Am I putting in the work? If I'm putting in the work, I'll be fine. Or that's my core belief. And I know that I'm putting in the work. I know you're putting in the work. I know Abu's putting in the work. We're all putting in the work.
Yeah, we both are in this syndicate group. So, little heads up to Abu American. You've got two dedicated members for your syndicate group. Um, I know I have a link somewhere that I can show in chat. Gotta chill a little bit. I mean, I'm not getting paid by YouTube for doing all this stuff. So, and if I can help out a guy like him, I mean, with pleasure.
He's awesome. Um,
He's a solid guy.
you to actually go back even further on my story, since this is a freelancing podcast, the way I even broke into this whole thing of freelancing was with Abu American.
Hmm.
Years ago, I remember it perfectly. It was October 2019, late October. I was following him around. I really loved his content, and he tweeted that he needs, or he emailed that he needs a website person because his website sucked. And I didn't know zilch, almost zilch about websites. I knew how to set up a WordPress website and install a theme, and that was about it. And I looked at his website, and it was this Wix website that wasn't even mobile responsive. It was awful. And I'm like, in my mind, I'm like, I can do better than this. I can spin up something with WordPress in like a week. And I remember at that point, I was kind of in college, but on my way to quitting college. I didn't really know what I was going to do with my life. And I figured, let me email this guy. Let me just say, tell him I'm going to build his website. And I emailed him, and I remember perfectly. I told him, look, I'm going to do it for free. I just want to be near you because you seem really cool.
Hmm.
And he told me, nah, man, I'm gonna pay you. And I'm like, pay me? I was shocked that he would even, pay me because I had no portfolio, nothing. I was awful. But I guess he liked my approach and he let me build his website. And I built his website. And he gave me like full free will about the website, which was amazing because I was able to play with his website a lot, which in turn taught me a lot about websites. And then that's kind of how my career in engineering started off. It was just a random DM.
Yeah, I mean, small things, big steps. I mean, I started for my own with crypto, well, 4 to 5 years ago, approximately, that I really started getting
Wow.
involved, etc. Made my very first, um, thank you, Gordo. No, that I made my very first attempt, well, not attempt, my very first investment in Bitcoin. I believe it was 2019, so it's, yeah, 3 to 4 years approximately. I've known about crypto for a longer while, but it was back then that I noticed, well, I've got all this knowledge. let's start a blog. And that eventually became my dedicated website. And in 2020, during the lockdown, I was bored. Naturally, I still had to go to my 9 to 5. And well, I encountered Dylan with his freelancing group. I encountered Andrew Tate, and I was like, look, I know things are going to get hard. I'm going to focus on crypto. I'm going to start developing my little own educational brand. And naturally, I started with the idea I want to make money, but actually, this became more of, I'm going to say, healthy pastime. I mean, I learned to discover more cryptocurrency projects. I know my knowledge about crypto and blockchain is above the middle, above average. Um, Not unlike your level, you really are into development, etc. I understand most of the technicalities, but probably
I
not my
it's very
forte.
it's two different skills as what you do and what I do. It's not that I'm more in depth. I understand the technicalities behind these things, but I have no idea how to analyze them from like an economical perspective. I don't know nothing about tokenomics or anything like that. Um, uh, I know the technology behind, which
Well,
is not always a good way to invest, by the way.
I'm going to be honest. I rarely make a technical analysis of a
Oh
coin.
yeah, that's
Well, I do it in my live streams where I say we are going to see what the current trend is, mostly during, episodes like this. I generally begin with a little market update, seeing how Bitcoin is going, give a little, I'm going to say, opinion on how it evolves. It's not really financial advice, but it's not really detailed technical analysis. I'm more of like, I'm going to show you guys the white paper. And, well, like I did earlier on with Toucan Protocol, opening up the websites, checking out communities, checking out a white paper, and trying from the plenty of marketing talk that is available, start picking out the little technical details on how it works, and really summarize it, show it to the people, and see how development is. I also visit the various communities to show is it alive or not? What is the sentiment? By reason, well, you can't really speak of a decent blockchain project or it being decentralized if you have a dead community. If your community is asking questions like, where can I find the wallet? Yeah, sorry, that's kind of a bad move. I mean,
yeah. If I can tell you one thing about Toucan from an investment perspective, I'm not going to talk about that because I'm obviously biased and I'm not going to tell anybody to do or not to do anything. But if I can tell you just one thing about the company itself, the engineers are really smart and really good and really hardworking and also cool people. Because sometimes you have really hardworking, smart people, but they're dickheads. Not here. They're actually cool. Like I get along with them very well.
I'm going to believe you. Generally, and that's also a little theme I've picked up in my crypto bull live stream episodes. Um, I tend to look out for the team, not
Yeah.
because I do want to know them by name, because I'm going to be brutally honest. Me and remembering names, either we need to have talked multiple times and have had
Yep.
multiple conversations, but otherwise,
Nope.
nope. I
Nope.
mean, I love it how certain blockchain-based projects, well, cryptocurrency projects, introduce that team. They're like, "Oh yeah, and this is the guy. Isn't he great?" I'm like, "Who the fuck is he?" And yeah, he worked there. Never heard of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
I remember, I'm the same. I don't remember not one name, but I remember the stories about that person. So, like in Eat Amsterdam, I met so many people in that week. It was like packed, nonstop meeting new people in Web3. And we meet today, we might meet a few like days later because it's the same conference. And he says, like, "Oh, hi." And I'm like, what the fuck is your name? I know this about you. I know the other about you, but what is your name? How am I gonna say hi? It's awful. I'm awful as well.
yeah, I became a master in having small talk without having to mention a name.
Yeah, yeah. You have to.
Yeah,
That's
that's
the skill.
that's oratory skills right there.
That's the skill. That's the skill right there.
No, but I understand it, and then people can start asking me, but yeah, why do you want to know the team? because with a lot of shill and hype projects, or well, plain rug pulls and scams,
Yeah.
the team isn't being mentioned or fake profiles. I'm doing so to verify who are the developers. Are they real? Can I know there's a word for it. Can I verify them in any case and see if they are real and not pseudonymous?
Yeah.
That's my main goal. I don't care what their credits are. I want to
I
see
would,
are
I
they
would
real.
personally care. I would personally care what they're if they're good or not good. Honestly, because it's like for example, VCs, venture capitalists, when they invest in a company that is very early stage, usually, I mean, the idea might sound good for the project, and a lot of ideas sound good, but because I also evaluated for Tucan, I evaluated grants. Like Tucan has a grant program where we give money to different small projects, very early stage projects, and we help them get started in their journey. And so I've had to judge all of these ideas and all of these themes, and sometimes the idea sounds really good, like really good. But I'm looking at this person and they really have no technical ability and
Yeah.
they have no idea how to hire an engineer. In fact, they like I've met a specific person which I'm not going to name particularly because I don't even remember their name, but they were completely delusional. Like in the sense of like, oh yeah, I'm just gonna hire an engineer for like $2,000 a month, and then this, and then he's gonna build that. And I'm like, are you insane? A blockchain engineer for $2,000 a month? This is not gonna happen. The idea I like, but you're not gonna make
Nah,
it.
no. No, and that's something I've also well, I know I said I didn't really care about the credentials. However, I did take a look at it to give the valuation on the team. And I mean, I've had financial coins where I was like, okay, cool. So you guys got a nice team of engineers and well, software editors, right? And then you take a look at the team and it's like, okay, one core developer, and no one else. Okay, so that guy's doing everything. And who are the rest of the 50 head team? And then you see marketing, finance, marketing, and I'm like, so there's
Nope.
only one guy who knows the code, and all else is getting paid. Okay, and
I mean,
at that
they're
point, I
doing.
know.
No, I'm not gonna shit on marketing people because they do work as well. But I mean, I'm gonna be a liar if I'm not gonna say that I am biased towards engineers being more important. And obviously, I'm an engineer, so I'm biased. Take my words with a grain of salt.
I'm an engineer in my 9 to 5. Of course, I'm biased towards engineers. I mean, we form the foundation of any decent company.
I actually totally agree. I think engineers make the world go round. I think any company that has anything to do with engineering should be at its core engineering based, and it should be to a very good degree engineering led.
Yeah. I mean, if you are into blockchain and cryptocurrency, I want your CEO to have at least some knowledge about software development. It doesn't need to be back end, it might be front end. I don't care, but at least have a iota of programming, which was, by the way, one of the reasons why I'm speaking so highly of Cumrocket. By reason, yes, she is female, but she's got a degree in software engineering. She's probably one of the very few CEOs that I've seen during my run as an educator who actually has such a degree. So there we have it.
Yeah, it's this bias. It's this bias. I've yeah, man. You got to have a good engineering team and a good technically focused. I think leadership team. Maybe not necessarily. I would also like the CEO to be technical, but if he's not technical, at least give him a really good CTO that really has a say in how things are done. At least.
Yeah, it's like leadership. You can have a shitty president, but a very hardcore, decent team surrounding him, or you can have one decent president and a shitty team behind it. Both will work out just fine. And the
Yep.
same applies to any company. You can have a shitty CEO, but if he has a strong development team, all things good. But
I
yeah,
it's
do not
this
have.
is
Decent
Isn't
team.
it kind of the chicken and the egg?
Yeah,
Because
kind of.
I actually had a show yesterday, last night,
Yeah, yeah.
and we talked about how, like, how at one point we talked about how the CTO, or not necessarily the CEO, but the leadership, all of their personalities and their values kind of trickle down the organization.
Yep.
And so then if you have a good leader but you have a bad team, it's kind of like the chicken and the egg. Or if it's the other way around, you have a bad leader and a great team, it's kind of like the chicken and the egg. I think you can't have a completely shit leader with a
Hmm.
really good team. The leader has to be somewhat good, or the reverse also.
Yeah, if you have a great leader and a shitty team, the team will get some redemption by reason they look for the strong leader and his values will trickle down and they will listen to it. By reason they need some form of guidance and they still need their paycheck at the end of the month.
Or they're gonna
However,
get.
with the inverse, strong team, shitty leader, the strong team will say, yeah, we need a little offering to appease the masses if something goes awry. Hello, boss, how are you doing? That's generally the sentiment. And I'm very sad to say that's something I've seen quite a few times during my 9 to 5 work in industrial engineering. So, not talking bad about all my previous jobs, but I've did seen some teams and some leaders, well, managers, and well, that's basically where it boiled down to it.
I mean, I think every organization, maybe not every organization, but a lot of organizations, they might be good in general, but there will always be some bad apples. There's just like it's the bell curve, right? Most people are okay. Some are really awesome. Some are not that awesome.
I just cope somewhere. You just have to cope with some people and say, okay, that was it. Let's move on.
Yep. You have
Can't have
to.
everything.
It's part of life. Part of life.
Yeah. So, is there any other subject I'm going to cover? No, I'm going to share a little bit. Um, Alex mentioned he did a little interview yesterday, so I picked in on it and said, yeah, I joined for a little while. It was with Nora, was she called?
Yes, she is my product manager, and she has this very interesting background. She started out as an actress, to sum it up, and
Mm-hmm.
then ended up becoming a product manager at Tesla, and now she joined us. It's a very interesting story, and she's a very smart person. I like her a lot because she has the same personality as me of, let's do this, let's do the other thing, let's get this done, this is done, is that done, okay, now let's do this. She's just
Hands
uh,
on. That's yeah,
she's just that type of person, and I like those type of people.
yeah. Hands on persons are the best ones. I mean, for that, now that I mention it, I'm going to just share a little something here. Where is it? I've got way too much stuff open. Here we go. So this is your YouTube channel. That's one of the things I wanted to share here.
Yeah,
So people,
the live section is where most of the action happens.
there we go. Oh
This
yeah,
is where the action is happening.
XX product manager. Not
Yeah,
yes. So um,
Matthias is Matthias is this he's this guy who helps acquisition entrepreneurs secure financing to acquire companies. It's a new world for me. I don't know much about it, but it is very interesting to me because, like, there literally are people out there who skip the whole startup part. Like, maybe you want to start a business of your own if you're watching this. Maybe I wanted to do that too. Who knows, right? We all have our own dreams and aspirations. Here's the thing: most businesses that you're going to start are going to fail. It's statistical. No matter how smart you are, no matter how hardworking you are, and so then there's this whole world of people where they don't even start a business. They buy one that already exists, and they
yeah,
are smart and they are hardworking, and then they take that business to the next level. Now, a business, they usually sell for, like, a private business usually sells for 3 to 6 times the amount of yearly profits it has. So if you're gonna buy a business that makes $200,000 a year or $300,000 a year, you need to have like 600. to potentially a number in the millions. You're not going to have that. So then there's people like Matthias who help you get that from other places. It's quite an interesting subject for me.
Yeah, it is interesting to have such talks. I mean, yeah. Um, Side note, thank you for from both of us. Thank you, Gordo.
Yeah.
I know in private chat I tend to blow my own horn, so being quite ego boosting. But I know I'm a small channel, so seeing something like that, it's
It's
really
coming, man. It's coming. It's you just
might also
I,
be addressed to you, Alex.
I didn't hear.
Crypto content creator. I know you also do quite a lot of stuff with crypto, so it might
I
be towards you.
I have the most random, non-structured channel. I just interview people randomly as they come. Because like Matthias has nothing to do with crypto,
Hmm.
and Nora obviously works in crypto. But then I also have a few smart contract auditors on there, and it's always going to be random. It's whatever comes to my hands. If you, it's just because I don't even plan these things. Like I know a lot of people that do podcasts have pipelines where they request X amount of interviews per week or whatever. I'm
Hmm.
literally scrolling to Twitter and I find an interesting tweet and I'm like, I would like to interview this guy. I'm gonna just DM him on the spot.
Yeah, I try to do as well, but generally not very successful. I'm doing it more in a structured way. I'm still trying. I don't know if you are aware of Ordinals protocol that has been
I've
launched on
heard
Bitcoin.
about it. I don't know anything about it.
Yeah, okay, so basically it brings NFTs onto the Bitcoin blockchain, but not in the traditional way with IPFS, whereby there's a referral link onto the chain, which refers to what's an external server. No, no. Ordinals protocol saves the NFT directly in its entirety onto the chain, making use of a variety of programming tricks. So
Isn't that amazingly, amazingly costly?
yes and no. Where it concerns costs, it is okay-ish. Problem is, and that's one of the reasons why I want to have a talk with the Ordinal projects guys, um, has to do with congestion and filling up the blocks very quickly. I know they have implemented a few tricks to keep it relatively small. However, quite recently there was a block mined on the Bitcoin blockchain, 4 MB in size, entirely filled up with one NFT from Ordinal's protocols. And the four
Wow,
megabytes, in case you guys don't know, that's the theoretical maximum of a block in the Bitcoin blockchain.
that's
So that
crazy.
was actually quite a big event.
That's crazy. How many times have we had either Bitcoin or Ethereum fill a whole block with just one transaction? I don't think it's that many times.
No, I believe it's one of the very first times, perhaps, that the theoretical level for Bitcoin was reached.
For Bitcoin, it might be the first time. For
Yeah,
Ethereum, I think there has been a few times.
yeah. Especially considering the last bull market, I know there were quite a few blocks on their theoretical maximum being minted. But yeah, Ethereum. Well, people who follow my show and especially who have heard Abu American ranting about Ethereum, we both are of the same opinion. It is a mess, just a mess. But
It's,
or yeah.
I mean, I'm not an Ethereum lover, but I am an EVM lover.
That's
And
yeah.
even lover is a bit of an exaggeration. But I am a smart contract engineer, so I'm obviously gonna say I like them. It's
I understand it's a love hate relationship. It's more a complicated relationship. I
yeah,
mean, Ethereum as a chain in itself, I'm not convinced. There's too many improvement protocols being implemented, but at the same time, they've got a few redeeming factors, just like the Ethereum virtual machine, which I understand completely is actually a very solid thing.
it's a
Ethereum,
really good technology.
yeah, and Ethereum also led the groundwork for decentralized application building platforms
Yep.
such as Binance. And very few people know that, but Binance, okay, they have their own chain. They have now the Binance Smart Chain since last bull run, but most of the coding can easily be compared towards Ethereum. Not to
Oh
say
yeah,
that bots are even plain copy paste. So on that aspect, I dare say there's redeeming factors.
like Toucan is on Polygon and now on Cello, but you can literally copy paste smart contracts. Well, not okay, but yeah, literally copy paste smart contracts from Ethereum to Polygon to Cello to. I'm not familiar with BNB a lot, but if it's EVM based, you can also copy paste it there.
Yeah, probably renamed, but I know where it concerns the coding, perhaps a little bit trimmed down, more easy because I know deploying tokens on BNB chain is much simpler than on Ethereum. But I know where it concerns certain basic factors, they're quite level when it comes down to it. Unless Binance made it more automated to create your tokens. Why I'm saying this, well, one of the reasons in the last bull run, we saw a surgence of plenty of Binance-based tokens, and no longer Ethereum, which was the case in 2017, 2018.
Yeah.
So there has been a transition, and that's one of the reasons why they say Binance probably yeah, I'm going to keep it on probably, as I'm not entirely sure anymore, because I know you've been looking it up. But probably copied a greater part of a few Ethereum improvement protocols, implemented their own, trimmed it down, made it more easily and automated in order to deploy tokens when compared to Ethereum.
I'm really not sure about it. I'll have to do my research on that. Um, that
Uh,
said,
yeah,
I mean, yeah, I don't know anything about BNB chain except that it is EVM compatible. So I'm not going to say anything about it.
yeah. Generally, when there's a compatibility, you kind of know there's a shared basis somewhere. That's what I'm based off. So yeah,
Yep.
seeing we're 1 hour 20 minutes almost in.
Time flies.
Yeah, it went ahead quite nicely. It's actually a very good talk. I'm going to say we'll slowly end the live streaming unless there's a few things you still want to share about what you're doing, about Tucan Protocol. So you have the floor to shill a little bit if you want.
Okay, me shilling. There's a few things I want to shill. There's a few things I want to shill. Okay, so one, obviously, maybe try to check out my channel. Maybe it's interesting to you, maybe not. Um, if you're trying to break into software engineering as a contractor, I don't offer any products, but I offer my free time and I try to help as much as I can. So if you can DM me on Twitter, or if you want to go to the Syndicate Abu Americans channel, I also have a channel in there, and you can DM me in there and ask me, hey, I'm like a few days ago, somebody asked me they're trying to interview for this company, and they asked me about their advice about a specific part of the interview. I'm not saying my advice is the best. I'm saying I'm trying to help you from my own experiences. Um, and there's one specific thing that I really want to shill, which is not yet really launched. I am working on caterpillarauditors.com. I'm
Hmm.
typing it in right now. This is the website. It's not yet launched, but me and a friend of mine who is a smart contract auditor, we are trying to get donations from crypto organizations. And then we are going to use these donations to support and finance junior auditors so that they may become, they may, use that funding or that support from us to go full time bounty hunting, which is a huge thing that you can do, which is going to really help you take your auditing skills to the next level. And it's going to help you, maybe get a job through that experience and that practice and that study. Um, and that's awesome because I think auditors do a very, very important job in the Web3 ecosystem.
Hmm.
They help us stay secure so that we don't get hacked. We've known a lot of hacks this past year, some in the hundreds of millions, and we need more auditors. We really need good auditors and more of them so that we may be able to keep all of these assets secure.
Cool. Yeah, sharing it here on screen. What can I say? Well, I like the idea that you guys are calling it auditors. And what was the other word here? Bounty hunters.
Caterpillar auditors, it's because you start out as the caterpillar, this ugly little, well, bug, and then you turn
Yeah.
into a butterfly that knows how to audit. That's the concept right here. And yeah, bounty hunting. We actually have a bounty hunting program at Tucan, and that's how I know about bounty hunting. It's just people that go out there to find bugs in protocols, and they get paid for finding bugs.
Mhm.
And some people make a lot of money finding bugs.
Yeah, I can entirely understand. I know on Ethereum, within the network on their website, I know they frequently say, "Did you find a bug? You can report it." Plenty of projects do so. This is basically it. No, what I wanted to say is a nice choice of words for auditors and bounty hunters. I know popular media tends to describe it as white hat hackers, but
Yeah,
bounty hunters sounds so much more thrilling.
it sounds fun.
Sounds more fun,
A
less
lot.
tech nerdy, more fun wise. Even though, yeah, it's scrolling code.
Yeah, it's very hard. Very hard.
I
I
understand.
can't. I can't do it myself. It's too hard for me yet.
Yet that's the good character for freelancer. I can't do it yet.
Yeah,
Uh,
I think it's a good thing for everybody to just think. Like, I, a lot of people like to say, you have to be positive and you have to think you can do anything. You
mhm.
really, if you're being honest with yourself, you really can't do everything or anything. But if you add an yet there, it is true. You can't do it yet, but maybe a year from now, who knows?
That's true. It's all about yeah, your view and character. I mean, if you are really like myself, hyped in cryptocurrency and blockchain, and people ask you something, I generally say, look, I haven't looked into it yet. I'm not going to do it and do a full-on review, etc. And you just do it. I mean, that's one of the things I do with my Crypto Bull episodes. I barely do research on beforehand. The only research I do is, well, looking up the tags of the thing so that I know what I'm talking about or in which category it is. Is it in blockchain gaming? Is it finance? Has it another utility? And that's about it. And all else, well, I find out during the live stream. It's 1 hour that I'm talking, explaining concepts that I already know and relating it towards the project. That's, yeah, the attitude. I don't know about it yet, but I will. So,
I can't. Future, right? That's the way to go about it. Stay positive.
yep. And I'm going to say on that note, I'm going to end this live stream. Alex, finally, after about 2 years, I believe, or is it a 1 year?
I think it's more of a year and a half.
Yeah, about a year and a half of asking if you want to join me. Finally had the episode. Yes.
Let's
So,
do a new one. Let's do another one at the end, like in a year from now. We can do like an update.
sure. Like they say in French, je suis chaud pour ça. I'm hot for it. So,
I don't know what
yeah,
you
sorry,
say
I
that.
speak multiple languages.
I, I speak too. It's fine. It's okay for me.
uh, 4 approximately.
Wow.
But yeah, not going deeper
The
into it.
perks of
So
living, the perks of living in Belgium, I guess.
yeah, we have 3 national languages: French, Dutch, German, and then I speak English. As presque Norsk. I can also speak a little bit of Norse, and I understand Italian and Spanish. So
Okay,
I'm way above 5.
you should do something with this. I don't know what, but you should do something with it.
I reach out to other influencers in other languages, not native to my own. That's one of the reasons why I use it. And in my 9 to 5, I need to speak English and German and
That's
French.
a good. That's a good use. That's a good use.
Yeah. Once again, I'm going to retry to end this broadcast. So
Yeah.
thank you once again, Alex, for having me.
As well.
Probably see you in a year on the live stream. I know in private we'll probably talk to Blue Americans Syndicate Discord. So thank you for having been here. To
Thank
all
you.
viewers, Thank you for watching. I hope you guys found a few educational gems here. With that, I'm going to end the live stream. Thank you guys, and till next time. Bye.
See you. Bye.